Alright, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you, well, kind of sort of live. This is recorded. I'm using OBS on my Mac, and I'm really liking how it works. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow me, well, I shouldn't say it doesn't allow me. I am not editing in my Nerds International video in the front like you've seen in some of the other videos. I'm just not doing it because I don't have my normal rig set up and everything. This is my Mac. My gaming laptop is the one I normally record on, and but it is. I'm waiting for a patch for OBS to come out that will work with this. I reached out to those guys and they tell me it's coming real soon. So anyway, it's been a week since I did a video. I missed last week, but I did. The Patreon video went out, and that is now uploaded. I don't even remember what it is. It's been crazy. I started my new job, so everything's going good there. So happy to be working again. But what it does mean is there will be a delay because I have to wait till the weekend or my days off. I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So videos are going to be on the weekends or in the evening once I get acclimated here in Duluth. For those of you that aren't aware of the big white winters, we're like 18 degrees outside today. It's cold. And Mr. Mean is completely happy because I'm a polar bear and I love it. So anyway, today's video du jour is a twofer. I noticed I've been talking about I was going to get a review out of Rune. So we're going to get that. We're going to go over this, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this and talk a little bit about this. And then we're going to go over this, the awesome GM screen from Stratagem. It's still on Amazon for $19.99 with Prime. Excuse me, if you have Prime, then you can get it with no shipping, so it's just $19.99 plus tax and applicable fees for wherever you live. But yeah, and we're going to talk about this because I wanted to do a little bit of both. So kind of make up for not putting a video out last week. Of course, my Patreons will get this video first. As always, if you want to become part of want to become a meanie and join Mr. Mean's Brigade, you can sign up on patreon.com/Mr. Mean Speaks. There'll be a link in the doobly-doo. And obviously as little as $5 a month, or the max is 15, so it's 5, 10, or 15. Various levels get you everything. You can go to the Patreon website, you can see all of that. So anyways, anywho's, let's get on with it. Also, before we go into it, a little more housekeeping. I'm on MeWe. MeWe's kind of taking the place of Facebook. I'm off Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, you may not have seen anything from me in the last couple of weeks. That's because I've been off of it for about 2 weeks now, and I'm happy. The toxicity, all the crap, the politics, the stupid people. MeWe is nice because you only see the feed of the people that you invite. So if you're not friends with them, you don't see their feed. That being said, if you're in a group, groups are public, or they can be private. If you're in a group, then you can see those feeds, and those people may not necessarily be in your contacts or your friends. And that they're going through some changes, but I really dig what MeWe's doing. I like there's no ads, there's no politics on there, there's no nothing. So anyway, check it out. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo. If you're a follower of my videos and you want to keep up with what I'm doing, MeWe is my social media, and it's pretty much all for gaming. I do occasionally post some stuff. I'm a big Saints football fan, New Orleans Saints. We smashed the Bengals yesterday. Oh, so painful. It was beautiful. 51-14, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it was painful. So I post a little bit of stuff like that, and maybe some pictures of my kid. I love my kid. So, but for the most part, I keep it pretty focused on my gaming and, you know, the library in the back there. So, anywho's, let's get on with it. Rune, published in 2000, Robin D. Laws, obviously very famous from Ars Magica and Feng Shui. Prolific writer, writes really great stuff. Feng Shui is one of my all-time favorites. As a matter of fact, I need to do a review of Feng Shui 2.0. But this was based off of the video game by what's the name of the company? I can't remember their name now. Human Head Studios, which I think they're out of business now. This is copyright 2000, so this is an 18-year-old game, and I'm going to tell you right now, it holds up to today. This is a good game mechanic. Who doesn't love Vikings? I mean, if you've watched the History Channel show Vikings, here's your game. The gods are real. They have an effect on the game. There's a mechanic built into it that the gods can interfere or help, as it may be. So it's very cool. It's a D10 system, written by Robin D. Laws. Human Head, you can see there's their little logo. They fully licensed their game engine that they use inside the computer game, and Robin took it and spit out a game. And spit out a game he did. Hardback, I believe this is still available. I believe I went searching on Amazon, and I did find a couple copies. I know you can get the PDF from Drive-Thru RPG. We are looking at, with the comprehensive index, 256 pages. It is stitched in glue binding. It's hardback. This book, I've had it since it came out, so it's held up very well. It's got there's a little cut right there where I think in shipping it got creased or dented or something like that. But still, it's in great shape. Why should you play Rune? Well, quite simple. You're a fan of Vikings, you're a fan of Norse mythology, and you're a fan of brutal combat. And this game is literally nothing more than you're going to kick down the door, you're going to kill some monsters, and you're going to take their treasure, all in the name of the gods, so that you can die in glorious battle and feast at the table with your god in Valhalla. That is this game in a nutshell. It's a D10 based system. You need one D10. You might want to have a couple, but for the most part, you really only need one D10 to roll to play this game. You've got your standard array of stats. It's kind of a point-buy system. There's a lot of GM handouts. I bookmarked a little page here. Your characteristics are strength, stamina, dexterity, quickness, intelligence, perception, presence, and communication. Then you have some stats that are figured out off of those. Your encumbrance, your move, your soak, and your response. The game goes by victory points, and you can upgrade your stats and everything. You get wounds. They go from -1 with 1 wound to -5, meaning you're incapacitated. So obviously that subtracts or adds to the difficulty. It is basically an attribute, plus or minus any modifiers, and a D10. There you go. You've got the game. You're trying to beat your opponent's dodge or defense or whatever, or you're trying to beat your opponent's dodge. If you beat their dodge, then you do damage, whatever the damage of your weapon is, plus if you have a strength modifier, it adds to it, and boom, there you go. There are some skills, fighting abilities. There's a whole bunch. I'm not going to list them all, like I said, but it's a pretty easygoing character sheet. It's nothing terribly difficult. I do not have a PDF copy of this, so that's why, using this OBS software, I could have laid out the PDF, and I would be down here in the bottom corner of your screen, and we could go over it. But you get everything you need to make a character. You get some adventures. You get lots of GM sheets and player sheets. There is the Roll of Valor, and this is basically a GM sheet, and it's just basically a crib sheet. So you put all your information on there: your initiative, your attack, your defense, your damage, your soak, your hit points, and your resistance. And you put that down, and then that's your NPCs, and then you tally them all up to be filled out by the runner. You're not called a game master here. You're called a runner. What's unique about Rune? What, besides being a super awesome, cool setting and a set of mechanics that are super easy to run, and a game that plays really fast, and this is one of many games, but actually not that many. It's one of a series of games that actually plays better with more players. Your standard gaming group of 3 to 4 players, or 3 to 6 on average, you can go up. I ran this at a convention one year. I think it was Pacificon in San Francisco. I ran this for 8 players and had no problems. Ran like a piece of cake, because of the horde mentality and you're just throwing these minions at the players, and then when you get your uber bad guy, he or she is tough, and it takes all the players. The game mechanics, like I said, it's a D10 based system, attribute plus or minus modifiers, and a D10, and then you're looking for a target number which is equal to the resistance or the defense or dodge of your opponent, or a task number that the GM sets. So super easy game to run. Damage is figured out. Obviously bigger weapons do more damage. If you have a good strength, you do more damage. It's a point buy system. They do a neat thing though, where none of the stats are a dump stat, because like communication, if you can't pray to your god because you can't communicate, you say, oh, communication's useless, I'm going to put a 2 in communication, and then all of a sudden shit hits the fan and you need help from your god. You've run into something magical and you don't know what to do, or you're asking for help, and the runner, the GM, hits you with, okay, well, give me a communication roll for your gods. You're going to have hard pressed to make that roll. So none of the stats are dump stats. They do give you some advice for where to put your points. The character creation section is really good. Presence obviously is another one. There's boasting in this game. If you've played L5R, one of the things you can do before a big battle is you can go out there and say, I am Miramoto Shozento. I was the arrow that slew, Obi-Wan Chen Chang, which is a true story in our L5R game from my good friend Brian. And I shot the arrow that killed Obi-Wan Chen Chang in the scenario. Anyway, but those are the kind of things you can do, and you can get modifiers to the battle and things like that. Very simple character sheet, not a whole lot. Divine gifts, because like I said, the gods are real, and they do bestow favor and fortune upon their favorites. So if you, it's kind of a cool thing, because if you're fighting the big baddie and you scream out, I dedicate this kill to Heimdall, the eyes of Valhalla, and you kill the guy and you manage to roll awesome and you behead him. Heimdall might give you a bonus to something, or he may give you a new boon or a new gift. So it's really cool how the game handles that. But the real joy of this game, and I've said this before in the past, is there's thousands of players and only few GMs. Well, in this game, everybody gets to be the GM. Everybody gets a turn at being the runner. And then you say, wait a minute, Mr. Mean, if everybody gets a turn at being the runner, what happens to my character? I'm going to lose, if I'm playing and all of a sudden now I got to be the GM or the runner, what happens to my character? Easy. You give your character sheet to one of the other players and they run your character, and you still get experience for running a session. So you don't get as much as the other players do, but you get extra experience for being the runner. And then the point of the game is not to kill your players, because remember, you're all vested in this, you're all part of the GM, you're all part of the players, is to round robin storytelling, and making that adventure as hard or as easy as the rest of the players want it. So maybe the last runner had a really difficult game where you were fighting some like undeads and it was really tough, and so now it's your turn to run, and maybe you want to do a little bit, maybe you want to do a heavy role-playing session where it's going to be like maybe a little courtly intrigue, and maybe some scalds and some bards, or and stuff like that, because one of the players is like more of a scald, which is a type. There's kind of sort of character classes in here, but maybe one of the players is a scald or a bard, in English terms, and so you want to make it a little more concentric to his point of view and let him have some of the glory and stuff. And you can totally do that with this game. That's what's great about it. You can have one session that's hack and slash, kick in the door, kill all the goblins. Goblins are the dirty bad guys in here. And then the next session you can have how the Scald is singing about all the praises and glories of everything that happened in that last session, and you can make it a more of a diplomatic or just a heavy role-playing session, and still give everybody XP, and everybody can buy up their characters and do cool things with. So it's a really, I want to say it's on the edge of being a party game. If you've got friends who aren't quite, like D&D is intimidating, or Pathfinder or Palladium fantasy is like just too much, you can do up some pre-gens with this and have everybody sit around, and you can make an easy scenario. You know, there's some in the book too. There's a little chart here you can roll onto for like starting adventures. Um, you can play the Rune video game. I think it's still available. You could probably find it somewhere, probably on Steam, and you could go from there. I mean, so you've got a whole bunch of options, and you can give everybody a taste of role playing without necessarily being too hardcore in it, like D&D, where you got all these choices. This is pretty cut and dry because it's basically hack and slash. This is where everybody complains where D&D doesn't have enough role playing. It's all we do is kick down the door and kill monsters. That's what you do in this game. That's what makes this game fun. You kick in the door and you kill monsters, all in the name of the Norse gods. Thor, Odin's son, Heimdall, Loki, Balder, all of them, and you can even randomly choose who your god is, or you can pick. They got some cool options in here to make a god, or to focus on one of the gods, and you get benefits for choosing that god and being one of their favorites. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here, for not a lot of money. $27.95 is what this retails for. Now, I think if you buy the PDF on DriveThruRPG, it's probably a lot cheaper, probably around 20 bucks, maybe even 15. I don't know. Have to go look. I'll see when I do the doobly-doo, the notes in the doobly-doo down below. I'll see if I can put the link to DriveThruRPG or Amazon on there for you. I don't get anything if you buy it, but if you like my review and it piques your interest, and you've got a gaming group that's open to different games and wants to try something, maybe one of your players is interested in being a GM, this is a great way to get them involved because it's not overly complicated. It can be as easy as you want it to be, or it can be as hard as you want it to be. And like I said, you can have that super intense game session, and you can have that real easy game session, for the new GM, where it's just, we're going to kick in the door and kill goblins. Boom. And you can give everybody loot and everything, and they've got auto-generated tables. It's super easy. So, and the book is laid out really well. It's a very comprehensive index. Table of contents is okay. It's black and white art in here. I don't believe there's any color pages. It's all black and white. You can see there's not a whole lot of art. It is consistent in its art, though. I will say it's all black and white, line drawing. There's very little art in here, but there is some. Yeah, there's some goblins down there. That's what your goblins look like. There's all kinds of course, underground. Again, you can get as deep into this as you want, or as easy as you want. The mechanics are super simple. I'm trying to find a decent picture. They've got all kinds of monsters in here. Rock goblins, mega dwarf. Oh yeah, there's a nice. I'm not even sure what that is. Let's see. Oh, that's a dwarf. That's a dwarf. There's rules for playing dwarves and other creatures if you wanna play. So you don't have to be just stuck with the on one side of the fence. You can do a bunch of other stuff. The book is laid out really well. Complaints. Nothing else ever came out for it. Love to see a GM screen for this. Robin, if you by chance see this, you should resurrect this game. I think it would do well in today's market. I think there's a very strong niche for this. I would love to see a GM screen. I'd love to see a couple, like a bestiary. Norse mythology is so huge that there's tons of stuff that I think it could warrant a monster manual for this, even if it's just PDF. Would love to see it. It's produced by Atlas Games. You can go on Atlas Games website. They have a plethora of downloads for it and adventures. Some were fan written. They're all relatively pretty good. And like I said, for a 18-year-old game, it's still kind of sort of being supported because, like I said, it's got its own dedicated page on Atlas, atlasgames.com, and it's really well done. I really like what they did with this. It's a simple, easy game, good for new players. If you don't want to be, and this is all you need. 15, 20, 30 bucks and you're done. You don't have to buy a monster manual. You don't have to buy a DMG. You don't have to go buy a ton of miniatures if you don't want to. I mean, you can do this theater of the mind, and everybody sits around the table and has a good time, running the game and playing the game, because even the GM or the runner gets experience points, which is really cool. You know, I mean, normally as a GM, you don't get anything except the satisfaction of telling a good game, which for most of us, that's all you need. But it's kind of cool that you get to make a character. Everybody's a player, everybody's a GM. So that's what's neat about this game. What really sets it apart. I don't know of any other game out there on the market that has a mechanic like this. Everway, which was a real niche game. It was a card-based game. I think Everway was kind of like that, but it was more of a storytelling game, and you used the cards to tell a story. I had a copy long ago. Who knows what happened to it? But anyway, this is not Everway. This is Rune. This is kick in the door, kill the goblins, take their treasure, all in the name of your god and glory. Robin D. Laws, published in 2000, Atlas Games, 256 pages. If I had one complaint, well, two complaints. One, never any supplements came out for it. Sucks. Two, the paper is flimsy. Be real careful. If you get a physical copy of this, the paper is very thin. And it's printed well. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't, I mean, unless you hold it up to light, you can't really see through it. So, it's not like it bleeds through. Little bit. I can see the paragraph behind it on some empty space. But the paper's thin, and if you got young people in your house or pets or whatever, they might accidentally tear it. I'm amazed mine is in such good shape after all these years. Like I said, a little damage on the cover right here, when you can see it right there where it got nicked or something. But based on the computer game by Human Head Studios, pretty much out of publishing right now. Like I said, I believe you can find a copy on probably on eBay. I thought I saw some on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it's on drive-thru. I'll put links in the doobly-doo down below when I post this. But again, this is going to go to my Patreons today, and then everybody else will get access to it next Monday when I post it. And it'll be probably when I come home from work. My new job, I'm a contractor, and I have access to everything. I haven't seen anything on the internet that I'm verboten. You know, obviously besides the common stuff like porn, which if you're stupid if you go to that while you're at work, you're just a dummy. But I can get to most of my game sites. I can launch Discord. So I'm just waiting to get a feel for the environment before I, leave Discord up and running. Basically what I've been doing is just popping it open real quick, go into it. I was able to install it on my machine. I still don't have my dotted account. In IT terms, that means my administrator account. This place does everything they keep everything separate. So you have your normal user login, and then you have a .admin account, and that's what you log in as an administrator to do things, and that's for tracking purposes. So, but I'm not an administrator on my local laptop yet. Once I get my dotted admin account, I'll go in and make myself an administrator on my laptop, and I got permission to do that. So, but I still, I'm learning a lot. It's every environment in IT is different, and we do it's all kinds of political red tape, and they have a very specific way the backup users' files and everything. It's just crazy, and there's a ton of work because the guy that left the job didn't do a whole hell of a lot when he left. He knew he was leaving, he didn't care, and I don't blame him. We're contractors on a government site, so there's no vested interest. You go to work, you do it 8 to 5, you go home at the end of the day. If it doesn't get done, you work on it tomorrow. If tomorrow never comes, somebody else will come in and do it, and I'm that somebody else in this case. But it's a job, it's a decent pay, and I've got good benefits. It appears they pay my full medical, woo! But only for me. I have to pay for the wife and the kid, but the wife is working at Essentia, so she can get medical through there for her and Norby. So everything's okay. It's going good. Back to Rune. So this is a buy in Mr. Mean's library. This has been in my library for 18 years. I've had this book since it came out. I remember seeing it at the local gaming store, and I went, "Oh my goodness, I gotta get that." And I saw it, and I was like, "Oh!" And ran it a couple times. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, it holds up really well to a large group, 8-10 players, no problem. It's pretty easy. You can use paper chits, theater of the mind. If you've got miniatures, you can use miniatures. They give you a little bit of advice in here. Robin knocked it out of the park, man. Robin D. Laws, he does good work anyway. Everybody likes his work. I don't know of any game he's done that I went, oh, that's crap. So solid. This is a buy in Mr. Mean's book. And like I said, I'll put links in the doobly-doo once I get it all uploaded to YouTube. And my non-Patreon members, you'll be able to see this video next Monday, a week from today. Today's Veterans Day. So 7 days from today, it'll go up probably in the evening unless I can get to it during the day. Like I said, new job, kind of busy, learning the ropes and everything. So not sure how much I get to do. Plus, I don't want to get myself in trouble or anything like that. So if it's verboten, I won't do it. But if I can do it, I will. So that's Rune. Obviously, if you've played it, if you like it, if you dislike it, put some notes in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps me out. Like I said, go sign up to Patreon. I try to put a video, 1 or 2 videos out every week. They're a week behind for non-Patreon members. Last week I didn't get a video out because new job and just hectic and crazy and learning and tired, and we're snowing here, and it's been 30 years since I've had to drive in the snow and everything, and I actually wind up denting my car because I hit some ice and I slid, and of all the cars in the world to hit, I hit my wife's car in our parking lot. We have our own parking here in Duluth is at a premium. The house we have has its own little parking lot, and I hit some ice and whoop, scratched up the side of the rear quarter panel of my car and my wife's bumper. So not the end of the world, but not happy about it. This is a brand new car. I bought it in June of last year, 2017. So anyway, like and subscribe, tell your friends, pass it along. Let's become a meanie. Now, on to the second part of this video du jour. Stratagem's GM screen. This thing is probably, if you're a GM or aspirations of being a GM, this is probably the best $20 you're going to spend. And that's a bold statement coming from Mr. Mean. I was using mine for the Pathfinder playtest. I had to unfortunately cancel my game just because life got in the way and my wife's work schedule, and so I had to cancel it. But this is a 4-panel jam screen. You can see I got some of the Pathfinder art in there. I'm lucky enough to have access to a LaserJet color printer in my house. I've had this over a year. I have not had any bleed through or anything like that from any of the stuff that I've put on here. Now, that being said, I have a LaserJet, not an inkjet. So I can't attest. Some other people have put some comments in the notes below in the other video that I did, the original video, stating that they had the bleed through. But what is nice about this is you can see there is about an inch, and not so much here, but there's about a ½ inch, quarter inch on each side of this screen, and that's every pocket. There's 8 pockets here, 4 in the front, 4 in the back. It's pretty sturdy too, but you can see if I can get this out because I'm a dummy. You can see it's been in here a while, so it's a little sticky. It's just time and humidity. But you can see there's the picture, and there is no bleed through on there. You can see there is no residual image on there. This is a regular sheet of paper, not heavy cardstock or premium paper, heavyweight paper. This is just plain old paper out of your LaserJet paper. So, and then look at this. Stick it right back in there. No muss, no fuss. And I got room on either side. Now, one of the guys in the video notes just posted a couple days ago, he said what works great if all you have is an inkjet printer. Look on the back, here's my notes and stuff for Pathfinder playtest, right? 4 panels. Because of the extra excess that they have, you put, oh, everything's reversed on the camera, put them in a sleeve. Everybody's got these pocket sleeves. You can get them at work, you can get them at Office Depot, you can get them in Walmart, Walgreens, wherever you can get these. It's just a sleeve protector, you know, it goes in a 3-ring binder. And look, plenty of room, fit it in there. You know, obviously you got to slide it down, but I got plenty of room to put it in there. So if you're on an inkjet, you can do that, and you don't have to worry about it bleeding onto the plastic. And I don't think that's necessarily a flaw of the GM screen or the material they use. This is also wet and dry erase compatible, and it comes with a marker. I think it's wet erase. I would test the dry erase before you use it. I think it's wet erase on these. When you buy this, it comes with 5e rules and Pathfinder First Edition GM rules, and a little adventure that's compatible for both. So that's a pretty good bang for your buck. It comes with some generic, looks like a tome basically, or a book, a medieval book with a gem on it. And I'll put a link in the doobly-doo. But I did just go to Amazon right before I started recording this, and it's still $19.99. I bought mine; it was $15, $14.99. It has since gone up in price. It went up in price shortly after I bought it, because I was all excited when I bought it. I got it for like $15, with Prime. It was like, I think $16 total or something like that. And man, this thing is held up. I've had it for over a year now. Go back and look at the date in the archive on the original video. It's like a year ago. I was using this for Conan, and then, like I said, I was running Pathfinder 2.0 playtest. I've done a review on that. Go back in the archive there and check it. But this is probably, like I said, this is the best $20 you will spend. If the guys from Stratagem are watching this and they see it, and I'm going to go up on Amazon and I'm going to put a video link review. I don't believe you can buy this on Drive-Thru-RPG. I don't believe it's there. I think they've got an exclusive deal with Studio 2 Publishing for the Savage Worlds one, which is another great product, but it's just so tight. And I covered it in my first review of this, the pros and cons of that. I like this one a lot better. My only request is, for the love of God, do a landscaped version. This, it's 8.5 inches tall. It's actually taller than that. And when you set it up on a table, it's hard to see the table. And I mean, I'm not a little guy. I'm 5'11" and I'm just short of 6 foot. I always say I'm 6 foot, but I'm not 6 foot. I'm not Drew Brees. Drew Brees, everybody knows, is 6 foot. So I'm 5'11". And I can't see the table, and I'm not a small guy. So landscape, the Pinnacle, or the one from Studio 2 Publishing, theirs is landscape, but the pockets are so hard, you have to laminate them, and then you can't get them in. You got to trim them down. It's a great screen, don't get me wrong, and if it's all you got, but it's like $34. It's also not cheap. This is just cardboard and some plastic. It's manufactured in China, I'm sure. Give us a landscape version, man. If I charge me an extra $5, give it to me for $25. I'll pay it. I want a landscape version of this with the wide pockets, easy to slip stuff. If you laminate these pages, if you're running a game, and all you have is a PDF of the GM screen contents, or you buy the PDF of it, like Modifius is really great about this. They sell a PDF version of all their paper GM screens. So if you don't want to buy the GM screen, you just want to print it and use it with something like this, you can, which is what I did for the Conan one. I did not buy the Conan GM screen because it was out of my price range at the time. And I had this, so boom, bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, landscape would be perfect. And then, it's usually not hard to find your favorite GM screen inserts landscape, or to convert them to landscape if you need to. It's usually pretty easy to do one way or the other. It's a little bit of editing on your part. Most everybody knows how to work Microsoft Word or OpenOffice, and then you just print the PDF. Boom, you've got it. Cut and paste, rearrange some stuff, save it as a PDF, or print it as a PDF. And you're good to go. So yeah, I would love to see a landscape version. This does come in multiple colors. They all have the same content, just different colors. I got the red because I like red. I thought it looked great. The green one, my buddy got, I think, purple, and it looks pretty snazzy. Grumpy Cat, Thomas, my friend Thomas, in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So yeah, man, this thing is awesome. This is, like I said, probably the best $20 you'll spend. You can print on heavy cards, slide it. You can print on regular paper, as you saw. Mine's on regular paper, and it goes in and out just fine. You can laminate them. So, if, like I said, if you've got your favorite Savage Worlds game, all of the Savage Worlds games that are powered by Savage Worlds have a Savage Worlds GM screen. A lot of them don't have a physical GM screen. They just have PDFs that you buy, and then you can just print them out and put them in here. The downside is a lot of the Savage Worlds GM screens are landscapes, so then you can't really use this. So now you've got to convert it and do a little bit of work, or find one that was fan made, and there's tons of them out there. I mean, D&D's really known for it, but you know, everybody has their own taste and what they find valuable on a GM screen. So this is the best $20 I think you can spend as a GM, you know. Or if you're a player and you really want to do your GM a solid, and you notice that he's fumbling around with GM screens and he's complaining, or it's not, you know, he doesn't have a good GM screen, guys, chip in. Everybody chip. You know, you got on average 4 players. Every player chips in $5. You just bought him this, and it's one of you's got an Amazon Prime account, or you know somebody who does, so you can order it, give them the money, they order it, boom, have it shipped right to your house or to your GM's house, or your storyteller, game master, runner, whatever you want to call them. And boom, they've got a GM screen that will last them a long time. This has made the move with me twice now. I bought it when I lived in Texas, and I moved from Texas to here, and it is survived just fine. It's pretty solid. It's good quality. Like I said, it's wet erase for sure. It might even be dry erase. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Test it yourself on a little corner. But yeah, it works great for that. And it's, like I said, it's probably the best $20 you'll buy. And like I said, if you're using an inkjet, I give a shout out to whoever it was that posted it on the YouTube channel. I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember your name. But yeah, just put it inside of a sleeve, because there's enough room, you know, on the sides. There's enough room on each side that a sleeve will fit in here perfectly, and you're good to go. And then you don't have to worry about the bleed through. It'll bleed through on the sheet protector. You can throw that away. Those are pennies by the dozen. So anyway, that's Mr. Mean here. How long we been going on for? We've been going on for almost 40 minutes. So I just wanted to get a video out. This will take a little while to render and update. As always, peace, hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice. Check me out on MeWe. Send me a friend request. Or a contact request. It's not a friend request. It's a contact request. If you're on MeWe, check out MeWe. Like I said, I'll put a link down there in the doobly-doo, and we'll go for there. So anyway, as always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean's working, so that means more new games coming soon. As always, peace and hair grease. And remember, be nice.